everybody. Welcome back to Topic 3 here on UFS University. If you notice, we've all changed. It's a new day.
I'm still wearing the same shirt.
Are you?
Yeah.
I think I might be wearing the same one too.
Well, then it's not a new day, and I just got a shower. So, Topic 3 is going to be an interesting one, and it's one brought to us by one of us, the good people, Tyler Clark.
Yep.
And that is
Note-taking.
note-taking. Can you give what do you mean by note-taking?
So, as we've talked about in previous episodes, a lot of people like to have a notebook with them whenever they're playing their games.
Mm-hmm.
And some people use this just as a life counter to make sure that they track all the damage that they do. And some people, like I've seen James do, go a step further and take all the notes that they can so that they have all the information that they can.
Information management, dude.
So this is really rad because in Yu-Gi-Oh!, the other card game that I used to play, note-taking is not allowed at all.
Right.
You may not take notes.
You are allowed to do that in this game as long as
It is public knowledge.
everybody can see it. You
The
cannot
whole
hide
wide
your
world.
notes.
My great-grandma in South Alabama is allowed to see these notes
You
if she
can
wants
code
to.
these notes as long as they're viable, as long as people can read them.
What do you mean?
Like if you have certain words used for certain cards that only you'll remember, you just write that down.
Really?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be layman's terms?
No, the notes only require that your opponent's able to read them.
Interesting. So if you had like Pig Latin, if you wrote everything in Pig Latin,
Yeah.
You can figure
Hopefully
it.
people know how to read Pig Latin. It's so hard.
or if you'd switch the first two letters like Lisselmoncher. Sophie Comba. Or Big Shot Punch when he actually has a Big Shot Judy. I dig it. I like these codes. I dig it. So what we're going to do real fast is give an explanation of what note-taking you do as a player, as a professional UFS player, and then what the pros and cons of these note-taking. Fair?
Sure.
So James, you're the one who's going to dive in deep.
Sure. When I do my notes, I usually mostly write, because most of the time anything I have to write is just like the initials for the names of attacks. So or just shorthand tags like missile launcher, like miss launch or miss lawn, whatever. And then I also do if I see their hand, like glaive throw, I see their hand, I just write down the name of the cards I see so that way I know the blocks. I don't write down the blocks just because I know what the cards do most of the time.
Right. Having that knowledge, but just a quick reminder of hey, what's in their hand.
Yeah.
What hidden knowledge becomes.
Because in my opinion, and Shane also said this to Jake, Jake lost the first game in Turbo because he forgot what Shane added to his hand with Goro.
Totally.
And if he remembered...
So
he
versus Goro, do you write down everything?
No, most of the time I actually just...
Yeah.
It's just easier to go, I know what 4 cards you added.
Yeah.
So let's play this out.
Yeah.
Or I wait till their turn's over and write down the 1 card they have left.
Okay.
So I don't forget it.
Okay.
If it's actually that big of an issue.
Do you ever feel like this adds to your game time? Do you ever feel like that could be considered stalling?
No, because most of the time it's just... I'm at 21, I take 6, go to 15, and then add a betrayal, add double Bs next to the what dealt. That's it.
Okay.
It's the most I add most of the time.
Why don't you take extensive notes?
Cause. So I did at
Show's over, guys.
I did at one point take notes of how much damage I dealt in the games, right? So you'll write down Goro and Maxi, right? And you'll keep track of life. But I found that after the game, those notes didn't matter to me anymore.
Okay.
So I saw no point in it, and it just wasted paper.
I don't take notes because I care about the trees.
Right. I wasn't paying attention to things like blocks in their hand or what they've checked or things like that I need to. So if they weren't written on the notes, if I wasn't going to write them on the notes in the first place, I don't need to take the notes.
So the only note taking that I would ever do is what's in their hand. I wouldn't care about what attacks have done what. I wouldn't care about the order of my momentum because I've just practiced enough in order to make that a skill. I've played Yu-Gi-Oh enough that when I get a pick at your hand, I know it's in your hand.
I do the same thing. It's just more of knowing what attack zones they have.
Yeah,
Like they
Not-
just went through their deck and shuffled. You don't have a chance. You don't get to look at their discard pile.
yeah, you do.
And they're about to. No, I meant like they've just done it. They have no discard pile. They're playing an attack, and you're wondering if you should block this attack and what are the other zones in their other attacks.
Yeah,
And you just don't
you
remember.
should have just been paying attention.
Yeah.
Like that's
Like it's just extra knowledge just in case.
that's my big counter to note taking is I don't want you to waste my time. If your note taking is taking longer than 2 letters, don't. I'm gonna be livid. I'm gonna be so mad at you for wasting my precious seconds. There are so many times that I go to time in a match, and you writing down the cool air ground smash that I hit you with is not acceptable. Just I want you just to feel it in your soul
put
and
HS.
remember. Like I just want you to remember.
Right.
Or like writing down every card in somebody's hand once you peek at them. That would actually tilt me a smidge.
Remind me to do that now.
Hey, man, do what you got to do, I guess. But it's like note taking. I feel is not important because of how quick we run through our hands. I think what's more important is just having the training in order to review all the cards that they have, all the cards that I had that are public knowledge. I think that's actually more important than taking notes on sometimes hidden information.
Sure.
Oh man, I didn't realize you had that foundation down there. I didn't realize you were playing that card. Well, I mean, I checked one of it already, so like you should have known like it exists.
Yeah.
Right.
So like I think stuff like that is way more important. Paying attention to those is way more important than sometimes hidden knowledge.
That's like having. It's not hidden if you write it down.
You're right. It's not hidden if you write it down.
It's just extra knowledge to have.
It's also you're not putting any brain power towards it then. So like that's the reason why I would take notes is that once I have this on paper, I don't have to think about it anymore until I have to think about it. I don't have to keep remembering what it is, and I can use my knowledge, my brain, my big brain to do all the other plays that I need to do.
So all the other plays that I need to do should be fairly second nature because of me playing the game so often. I practice 6 hours a day. Like I'm Travis TNT Tangeman. And I want that to be rattling inside my head. I want that to happen because that's keeping me focused and engaged. That's a new experience, a new trigger, a new synapses firing in my brain of like here's something that's not the rigmarole. That's not play coffee samba, draw 2, stun your board, punch Judy, punch Judy, punch Judy. Well, like I actually have to keep track of like what's going on inside your head.
Mm-hmm.
Or that's not build 2 pass go, build 2 pass go, build 2 pass. Oh, I was supposed to attack. I forgot. Like that. I forgot that I had a bang this whole time because I put my hand down and was just waiting for you. It's like that's happened to me totally because
Man, maybe if you wrote down what's in your own hand.
bang.
Like another reason I found that was really good for it is keeping track of life. Like if you and your opponent end up with like different life totals for what each person has, knowing what hit and what didn't is really helpful.
I think that's the most important note taking you can do is keeping track of your opponent's life, which I don't do.
Right.
I do. I trust my
Man, I'm
opponent.
at 30 life, Tam. How are you gonna do that? Yeah, I'm still at 30 life.
Hey, you're at 30,
So, like,
dude.
a lot of the time that you can take steps back with that though.
Yeah, totally.
Like
you can-
I get why a lot of the time that doesn't matter.
You can figure
why
it
you
out.
don't need to. We actually just got a comment today of like, what life counters do you guys recommend?
How do we use? What life
Right.
counters do we use?
And I said I use any. I use a countdown counter. I know some people like to take notes as long as you don't use dice. I wouldn't recommend that because
Why not?
you can knock it over easily,
Oh yeah.
or you can do math wrong. Like counting down, you can mess your numbers up.
I use dice, and I use a use a notepad.
Oh, you use both?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
One
had
where
this,
it's visually in front, and then one where I have it in my hand.
I had this cute little life counter that has a Tam from Samurai Showdown on it. I got in the Arkansas PTC like 2 years ago. And it is busted to hell and back. It is
Rip melee.
it is fucked. But yeah, it's got my name on it twice, so I use it.
Do you use it twice?
Hopefully, I only have to use it twice. Hopefully, it's not a game 3. Is there any last minute thoughts you guys have on note taking? Any advice that you can give when it comes to note taking, whether it be locally or not? We talked about note taking when it comes to like keeping track of your matchups and what you've won and all of that jazz. But
those are more like personal notes, more than
Yeah.
like in-game notes.
yeah,
Using it to better yourself as a player, as in holding game state in your head.
I know something that Ben Shoemaker does whenever he writes his notes, and he is a current champion. Shout outs to Ben. Is he wrote what's the overall theme that happened in that game? Why did he lose? Why did he win? What gave him the most advantage? Even like when I fought him, the most recent time I fought him was at Nationals this past year. He was playing Liu Kang. I was playing Goro, and he like both games he was like fatalities nuts or yin and yang combos, and that's what he did. So he can look back in his notes and be like, hey, what won me the game?
Or lost me the game.
What lost me the game? Oh, triple missile launcher.
Just
No attacks. Just big themes. I think that's really good note taking as you're practicing and you're doing your reps as well.
Sure.
I think that's
gives you deck knowledge of your own self.
yeah.
Like I think I don't know if I've ever said it on the podcast. I feel like I have, but like one of the best things you can ever do is like know your deck. Knowing your deck and its numbers is like the best thing you can do.
Totally.
It's my
This game's
favorite
about
thing.
math.
It's
sucks.
a lot of math. I like laying out my deck and then having like 50,000 dice on the table.
Math is for assholes.
Ben Shoemaker once again.
Yeah. Shout out to Ben. Tyler, any last comments?
No. If you want to, don't go overboard, right? Like Tam said, don't take up 5 minutes of an hour-long match just writing notes. I think it's good for keeping track of making sure that the numbers are right, but I don't know if it's necessary.
Fair enough. So with that, we're going to bring this topic to a close, and we're going to throw a curveball to my fellow castmates here on fourth topic.
Yeah, you
So-
want to do the fourth one, huh?
We'll see you tomorrow.